Hello and welcome to Sunbeam Alpine Tiger Recreation Part 9. Now this video, what I've done is probably the longest one I've done up to yet. I'm learning the editing, I'm getting stuff sorted, so we've all got it in panoramica, whatever you want to call it. Instead of being like that on some of the earlier videos, or upside down. That's usually one of the things I do. So I was in this part 9. We're hacking the chassis, chopping the chassis, bits out of it here, there and everywhere, and welding it up, strengthening it up, etc, etc. The reason why we want to get this V8 in and have some room to take the spark plugs out, as well as probably get your hands down the side. Who knows? But I'm sure I can do a better improvement than the original one back in the 60s. But you can be the judge of that anyway. Now, I haven't got forming machines, etc. Everything's cut by hand, plasma or hacksaw, whatever. And I've got a tiny little folding machine, which I made myself out of a jack and whatever, but that's all I've got to work with. So it comes out not too bad. Be nice when it's painted anyway. I'm hoping I'm trying to assure myself here, but I'm just going to show you the tool what I invested in a few months ago or whatever. It's a little battery, 12-volt battery, 3-inch cutter tool, which is very similar to my air one, which I've still got the guard on, and I can swap from one to the other on battery charge and everything. Tried to burn this out really, and it does stop if you give it too much stick, but it's good for cutting out material from even like 2mm. It takes a bit of time on the 2mm, but on the 1.5 and the 1mm, it's not too bad. Now that's well worth it for around about 26 of your king's pounds as it is now. So as I'll put a link or a photograph or whatever at the end of the video, and you can have a look yourself. But the one to get is the one with a little battery indicator on it, and this one has got auto stop on it. There is a cheaper version for about £18. Watch out, I have brought one. Not too impressed with it. It doesn't stop, it keeps spinning on as well, and it doesn't seem to have as much torque as this one, but beware on that. All our Milwaukee do one. If you've got plenty of money, just get a Milwaukee one and you'll find it a very good asset to your tool collection. Right, so I was part 9, like I say, hacking the chassis, and we're getting it hopefully right. Please subscribe. It doesn't cost a penny to subscribe. All it means is, like, when I do part 10, 11, so on, it'll just ding notify you that I've put a new video on. Now I am going away again, so as I'm going to try and do part 10, it won't be the engine. I think it'll be part 11 when it'll be a good spread of the engine. I've got a problem with the rocker covers. I've got somebody doing something for that as well, which will be interesting. And then we've got to put the oil pump on, and all the sump and this, that and the other, and then we can do a dry run, a fitting, and then once I'm happy with that engine then gone in there, engine and gearbox obviously all in one, and I'm happy with that, I will then paint all inside the engine bay, and knowing everything's fine. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and like I say, thank you for watching. And you thought I was leaving the headlights in? No, I think part 9 is going to be all about the engine bay and around it. Now, I don't think you've seen this shot before. I think it's the first time the car's been at this level for quite some time, but we're getting there extremely slowly. It's actually making my fingers bleed, to say the least. So, yeah, we get in there. On there, as you can see, I've got all this spaghetti to sort out, and we're gonna hide that which that's going to be very interesting when I cut that out. We'll get onto that later. Don't know what part that's going to be in, but this is going to be some going. We've done all that. It's not bad. I think I need a bit more improvement on it. But on my wisdom, I don't know whether you can see this. Yeah, you can. Look what I found here. A little bubble. So I'm going to hack that away, knock the drill through it, get rid of the nasty rust, and I'm going to try and dib-dab it. Or if I can't dib-dab it, I'm going to shove something underneath and dib-dab it too. But I'm sure I can sort that out. Little indentation and a little bit of filler, and then we can get it going. Now, colour, right? This is a Mitsubishi Nice, or Nice Blue it's called, and it's growing on me. So I've decided that I'm going to do it all the same colour. Now the question is, do I dechrome it? Because it looks very nice with the satin black. So as I'm thinking, satin black bumpers, satin black, everything satin black trim, and because of these, I've got to have them re-chromed, because me being a bit of a perfectionist, it's full of rust bubbles. I don't know whether it's rust or not, but these are some, yeah, it's got to be, because it's like a... Anyway, these are all blistered and horrible, and they wouldn't look nice. However, they look nice powder coated in satin black, and the same with the bezels, and the same with all the rest of the trim. I'd like to hear your views on that, whether we go re-chrome, so as we got this blue and satin black, or chrome. Satin black or chrome. That's the question I'm asking. Now I'm 99% sure it'll look the business in satin black. So if you can see, we've wire brushed all this lot down now and treated it with the VAT tan, not Vatican or whatever I'm calling it. It's VAC tan, which will neutralise all this rust, slow it down, virtually stop it. So that'll be good for another 20 years or so, hopefully. So I shall wait till that dries. Now that dries into like a hard surface, and you can just Schultz or body guards, whatever you want to call it, spray all over that then, which I'll be happy with that. Okay, we've been a little bit busy on the inner arch here. We've actually took this out, and we've chopped this off here. I didn't like it. I just wanted to make it more smooth and easy for the engine to go in and out. Obviously the exhausts are pretty close on here, so that'll eliminate that problem. Now what's cheesed me off a little is that when the last person did all this, it just filled it all up with bits of filler and stuff. So I'm just going to cut a small little plate in there, some 2mm thick, and then we're going to weld it in and then smooth it out, so as it should sort that corner out there and make that a bit more presentable. Obviously it ain't not going to be a show car, well I don't think it is anyway, but I like to do things properly. Now also you notice there was an ugly bit of plate in there. That's took absolutely ages to get that out and clean all that up, and in doing so I had to hit it with the hammer. It's pulled a little bit out the chassis, so as we've peened it back and we've dib-dabbed it with MIG, and I'm just in the process of smoothing that off now. So as all in all this will be cleaned up, then we're going to go up there and get rid of all this lot, and yeah, every little helps. as they say. MTAD again, masking tape aided design. Then transform to a bit of card, CAD, cardboard aided design. Then we can fit the cardboard to make sure everything's fine. As you can see, the last guy had put a big bulbous snotter in there. It's quite solid. I've cleaned all up. I can blast into that with a welder, not a problem. So I'm going to cut a bit of steel now, probably with a plasma, and we'll get that in, see how it looks. Anyway, we cut it with the grinder in the end. Plasma's for big stuff. Anyway, it was a cleaner cut. So as you can see, the big snotter there, what the previous guy's gone in. So as I'm going to come down here, so as I've left a nice setback there, so as the welder running it, we can buff it over after. And then into the chassis and up there. Now there is some signs of sealer, whatever, the seam sealer I think is used in there. So if we weld it, it's just going to cough out and make a bloody mess of it. So I'm just going to put a fine pointed die grinder in there and just see if I can clean that up a bit, and then we'll weld it in, see what it looks like. Okay, so we got some welding, some good runs there, but you can see I cleaned it out as best I can. We've had a few little what's-arounds, but it's nothing to worry about. They'll clean up with the die grinder though as well, and the power's up quite high to get any bits of muck in there, so it should be fine. But we get that clean up anyway, and have a look. It'll all blend in nicely, that will. Now I'm sure you'll all agree with me, that's a lot better than what it was. So we've got a tiny little pinhole in there, but seam sealer, that's going to look nice. It might even just put a bit of body filler on, but it does crack if there's any stress points. But seam sealer, I think that's why all the manufacturers use seam sealer for, because they know that when the car's under extreme power, it cracks and it'll look like a bag of crap basically. So yeah, seam sealer. Now we've got a little bit of abomination here, which I'm gonna just smooth a little bit of filler, bonzo as the Americans and the Australians call it. I'm just going to smooth a little bit in there, because in all fairness, it's not going to affect anything. We know this is the business now. That is like, you know, I don't think anybody can better that. Not blowing my own trumpet there, but I'm happy with it, and I think, you know, anybody who has it, they're going to be happy with it. If I decide to sell it later on, who knows? But like I say now, we're happy with that. Bit of filler in there. Let's start getting all this lot raked out and see if we've got any ugly issues here. We've just got a little bit of weld from when this guy put this stiffener in, but this is the part I want to address up here. Lower the car down a little bit, but yeah, I'm happy with that. I should probably paint that all now with some rust killer, some vat tan, whatever I called it earlier on. But yeah, so as we're hacking the chassis away, this is just to make things a lot easier for dropping the engine and how close the exhaust manifolds are to the actual chassis. Jensen nicked out a little bit for the exhausts. We're just going a different way on that. I just want it to my liking, to be quite honest with you. We know the exhaust's catching slightly round here as well, so as I'm going to do a concave piece in here, nicely set in. All this will look factory when it's welded up. Now, also, obviously, there's people who have a few concerns. Oh, you cut the chassis, you've weakened it. What we're going to do, we've got the original front suspension tube, which is threaded up to the top where the front suspension fixes to. What we're going to do on there is just do an internal plate just the way around there. We're going to just weld it to the tube and weld it to the chassis. So if you can imagine, like strengthening the chassis up, that is far stronger than that. So as if you're going to put a plate in a chassis, you're going to have far more strength in that way than you are that way. Try it on a piece of card. So that's where we are with this. We're just going to form it and weld it all in, and then finish it off with a bit of fine filler, and I shall be happy with that. So as you can see, we've fitted an inner flitch plate just to give it more support, because obviously we're getting quite a few 300 or 400 horsepower through this. Now, if you can see here, the original manufacturer has done layers and layers and layers to hopefully give it some strength. But like I say, you're better off, they'd have been better off putting an inner flitch in there, to be honest with you. But we've gone 2mm, and the outer one is 3mm, which is 1/8 in American money. We've cut the plate, which will go in here very nicely. Well, I can't hold the phone and do it at the time, but I'll tack it in later and show you. So as I'm going to weld in the plate in now, and then we're going to decide what we're going to do with this, how we're going to blend that into the to the plate. And this piece here, where they've sculpted this out, I'm not happy. I'm going to cut that back and then and put that down, because that actually there is just in the way of getting one of the spark plugs out. It just makes it, my knuckles will fit the back of there, and it'll just pull that out really nice. So I'm just making this easier for maintenance in all respect. But at the end of the day, whatever you take out, you've got to put back in and make sure it's going to do the job. Well, as you can see, that's welded in fairly good. So what we'll do now is we'll tack the plate on, then leaving us some penetration gap, so as that can be flushed off and blended in. Remember, it's 3mm, that's 2mm, so as that's give that tube plenty of support where the engine's bolted to as well. So as that's beefed that up. And the thing is, you can't see it. It's best for me to put it on video, and then anybody can say, well, yeah, that's been reinforced. So I'm happy with that. As you can see, we've got it nicely tacked in. We've got plenty of gap there to get some weld right in, so as this can be flushed off. Same with that side. That'll go in there, and then we can build this up with a nice weld, and then radius that off with a sander. Then we can worry about what we're going to do on the top then. So we got this welded in. If you can see, that's gone well in there. That'll flash out. We've done a nice weld round here. Now, because it was laminated, like 3 layers of steel, it's pulled quite a bit of muck out between the laminates. So as I've ground into it after some horrible looking welds, and put some more in there. So what I'm going to do now is just finish all this off now with a sander. As you can see, I've sanded it all off now, and I've left the weld sort of profile showing, so as it looks part of the original structure. It's all blended in really nice. I've cut this out. Now I'm just going to slice some plate in that now, so as that's all nicely welded up. Not too keen on this, but it looking from previous bits, it's the last guy who did it, although the welds was quite ugly, it seems to have penetrated okay. So I'm going to get this plate on here now, and then we just got a bit of sorting out to do around here, and then we'll get it in primer. Okay, so we've done the plates and we've done this piece now, which actually makes that a lot more sort of factory, and this is all painted. It'll just be lovely. Now I don't particularly like this here, what the last person did, so I'm going to try and clean it up and just put a little plate in there, and then I can smooth it all out so as that smartens that corner up there. Also, we had a nick in the chassis, which I've filled that in and sorted that out, and then we've had this ugly piece of steel, whatever it was for, a bracket for the steering originally. I've took that out. I've just got a little bit more of sanding down there to get rid of that, and I think that then just about sorts that out. And then what we're going to do is just get up to that mess up there, sort all that mess out there, clean all this area up, and that'll all be ready for primer. So as you know, a few hours each day helps. Most people wouldn't do this to the chassis. Now I'm doing it because I know what I'm doing, or I think I know what I'm doing. So this chassis here in American is 0.55 thick, which equates to it's like 1.5 mil in the European metric crap thing, whatever. So we're gonna put a 2 mil plate in here. Now where we've shaped the chassis, we've done it at around 45 degrees. Now when that plate's welded in there on a full pen weld and cleaned all off, it won't lose its strength. It's still be there, but what you've got is you've got a bit more room to get them exhaust manifolds off if you needed to. It should work out just about right. So as when all that plates now, that's my CAD's cardboard aided design, that'll get a steel plate, then I'll cut that, weld it in, and then finish it off, and that'll sort this side out. Then that's perfect. That's give us a load of room. I mean, you could see the chassis, all the scratches in the chassis and the dents where somebody had knocked it and bished it and bashed it about. So I'm almost sure I'm doing the right thing there. So we'll get this welded in there then and see how good that looks. Right, first attempt, not bad. What I want to try and achieve is at least a 2 mil gap, so as I know the weld's penetrated through then, and then it can be flushed off. But we're not too bad. We've just got a little bit to take off here and around there. This can be also tapped in nicely, so it's not bad. We'll see what we can do with that. We've got a few tacks on, so that's what we wanted. A nice gap all the way around, so as I can fuse the weld in there. Now just this side here, it's just a little bit tight there, so as what I can do is just run the slitting disc up there and then tap that in a little bit. I can weld all this up then. That will be as strong as what it was previously, but it's just allowing me a bit more space for me me exhaust manifolds and getting my hands in and whatever I want to do. Not the best looking of welds, but I know that's gone right deep in there. So as we're going to clean that up now, and then that's ready for priming. All done. There you go, all grounded off nicely. Not even a bit of body filler in sight, eh? So that's nice, nicely done. Now I'm happy with that. I'll get some primer on that now, and we'll do the other side. Right then, surprise, I've got my welder on, switched on, that is. So I'm going to just dab this in. Now what I've found is that I've seemed to have gone through there a little bit, so I'm going to dib dab that up first. So that'll grind off nicely now and get rid of my bodge. So I'm just going to get this in as best as I can. Just going to put a couple of tacks on it first. We're going to get one there. Looks like I've missed it, but I don't think I have. And then we're just going to get one this side there. Right now, hopefully that should be square. So as from the bottom to the top, we've got 13 inches, or which is 330, and this side we've got, well, I'll be damned, there's a 16th in it. No. Yeah, it's a 29. 329 and 330. That'll be all right. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to put a few more in. So there we go. So one in there. One in there. One in there. One up the corner. And on the ends. That's gone in nice. Try this end. Just one underneath. And this side. Another one here. And a couple here. One in there. A couple here. Now, that is sufficient. Just one here now. That's all you need. Not to fully weld it because it's going to go all over the place. Now that aperture hole, or whatever you want to call it now, that's perfect now. I can seam seal this. That there is there because I don't want to fill it in and it ain't going to hurt nothing. So that'll do. Perhaps shove a cable through. Who knows? But it's there anyway. So as all this now will get cleaned off, primed. Well, I'll vac can everything while I'm on it, and I think that's that sort of finishes the front off. Apart from a little bit of filling the other side where I've welded the patch up. Both of them. One's almost finished. We'll get on with the other side. That's the front and out the way. Let's get these arches done. Right then, after we've done the MTAD, a masking tape aided design, we've cut all this crap out here because it was just horrible. So I've got this really close, which is not bad for first time, a bit of bashing. After I've straightened some of this out here and manipulated it a little bit more, I can get it very flush, and if I can get it flush, I can get a good weld in there. Obviously we couldn't bend this on a curvature, so as we've done it anyway. I've cut it off, and that will fill the back in, and then we'll put a strong penetrating weld down that corner and radius it off. And as you can see, it's quite thin anyway. It's in some places it's like a mil. They've done it from there, but this will ensure a good strong support, and that'll put that more or less back to what I thought was original. If not, it'd be better than original. So as we're trundling on. Okay, so as we had a good few hours yesterday on forming this section here, and then you get to bed, have a bit of a kip, have a restless night because you think something just not quite right. So anyway, that a scrap bin. At least I didn't weld the bugger in anyway. So I found a map of the original Shelby, Jensen, whoever did it, design, and how they've smacked this chassis out. So I guess they've heated it up with the oxypropane, oxyacetylene, whatever, and bashed it in for the clearance. However, the structure on the arch, the support structure, is different to the original Alpine. It's quite shallower, and if you look, it's not fully welded in either. It's just dibby-dabbed here, there and everywhere, and to be quite honest with you, it looks crap. So with the map, we've got a rough idea where we're going, so as we'll chuck that in the back burner for now, and then decide where we're going to go with this. So as I've scallop marked these with a bit of chalk, that was the original Shelby, whatever, Jensen bashing, what they did, and that you can still see that actually, because that's how it goes in, so you can still see that. Now, rust treated that last night, that's what it's gone nice and black for. So I was on the Alpine, there's a little bit of a nick out there, not sure what that's for, but what we'll do is we're gonna take it up to here. Focus is not very good, I'm trying my hardest out, and then we're going to take that in. Obviously I welded that in yesterday, but that's not a problem, so as I can still cut through it. But we're gonna take that back to how more or less they've done it. But what we're gonna do similar to what we did the other side, and cut it out. I'm not sure where we're going to go with it yet. I think we'll just cut it out and then get on with it, and bring it back again through that line there, and hook up. So I've put the original engine mounts in, and with the exhaust manifolds as well, within ½ inch either way, it gives you a rough idea where they are hitting, which is obviously there and there. So we're going to improve on that anyway. So we've cut it all out, then get it all out the way. We're going to do the same again. We're going to put a 2mm flitch in there just to give that a little bit more support. Probably don't need it, but might as well while it's out. Then I'll rust treat all the back of that, and then we've cut this back a little bit, so as we're going to put a plate all the way around there, 2mm, and we'll do a 3mm on the outside. Blend all that nicely in, everything all full penetration welds, and blend it all in. Job done, and that's sorted. Now if you can have a look at what was on there originally. Don't know what that was for. He'd put an engine stabiliser. Ain't just beyond belief. So when you can have a look what the other guy did, it's yeah, well, say no more. Right, let's get on with this then and see where we're going. I've been on the computer and done me CAD. So I was, there you go. Basically, we've got a few bends in this one to get it right, but you can see we've come in. So you've got a bit more room to get spark plug out or whatever, and this will just be +3 +2 peened up roll slightly, and then we can get like a good run all the way around there. And don't forget, when we get them off, we're doing a piece in there as well, just to give that a little bit more. But it probably won't be needed, but it's peace of mind for me and whoever wants to put a 1,000 horsepower engine in later on, who knows. So it's from CAD to a bit of 2mm. As you can see, it's more or less forming its shape. I need to address around here, so I might just warm this up and knock it in so as we can see the bolt. Not that the bolts come through, which they don't, but I've noticed there's caps in some of them to stop the threads rusting in. So I'll probably find some caps or something, or some rubber bungs just to drop in these anyway, when I prime it, paint it, whatever. Now, as you can see, I'm not pleased with how that's formed there. So what I've come up with, I've shaped some metal which will go in there. I'll dab that up, flush it off, and it'll just form part of that section. So we'll see how that ends up anyway. Remember that piece of plate what I put in? Yeah, I've put no filler in there yet. So it's just to show you how nice that is. Now, it's all tacked in there. It's well, ain't gonna bore you with a bit doing the welding. You can see where I've left the overhang when I've bent it up. What I shall do is cut in there at an angle, and then tap that in. I can get a good pen rail. If you weld round there, if you noticed, you can see all the little gaps. Those gaps, then when I weld that up, the penetration will go straight in, so as I can actually grind it off flush and then put a nice little radius on it. I like working with 2mm because I know that's one, it's going to be stronger than the 1.5, 1.4, 1.2, whatever it is on the original brace. We pushed it back. We've used the end of the ball peen hammer on there and pushed it back. So I'm going to plug that, shove some anti-spatter in there, and then I can get like a little fine weld round there, and then bring that in with a die grinder. And then once all that's welded up, then it'll look part of the structure. And the bonus is on this, it could be converted to left-hand drive as well, because it's out the way of the steering column to the rack. So as I'm happy with that now, let's crack on, and then we'll put the inner plate in there. It won't bore you with that. Get that done, get the outer done, get it all polished off, and then we're another step further to finishing the engine bay off. Well, look at that then. Not bad for a few hours work. I'm pleased with that now. And I've also found some plugs. There's little plastic plugs here, and you'll never ever guess what they are. Catheter, anyway, they'll do the job. So as I can tap them in and knock them off flush. That'll stop any debris getting in there at a later date, whenever. So I've dib-dabbed all around the mount. The plate's gone inside. I've took a picture to prove it. Didn't want to bore you with that because it was the same as the other side, basically. So now we're going to pull all the wires out the way, so as we can get this filled, seam sealed, sanded, and all in primer. It's looking good. Okay, that's about as far as I really want to go. Got rid of all that wire in there, snipped everything. Why not sort that out later? So as you can see, there was 3 holes there. That's where the water tank went, and somebody drilled an hole there, not me, honest, and then must have realised he couldn't get the bonnet down, so he come down a little bit. So I've dibby-dabbed them all up. It's quite thin. Usually you put a bit of copper or brass or even aluminium on the back, but I couldn't be bothered, so I was dib-dabbed it up, flushed that off after. That's fine. And also there was a few little bits of unwanted holes here what they'd bolted and drilled through, so I just got rid of them. I've just left the original tap towels in there. Don't know what that's for. It was the relay, so whether he's tapped them through I don't know, but I'm going to leave them there because you never know, you might want to put some at there. Obviously we've put the ram air outlet, as I'm calling it. Got some ideas on that. That'll be further on in the series. So what I want to do now is get all this flushed down, sanded down, whatever you want to call it, get some filler in it, get sanding, a couple of days sanding I reckon each side, and then we'll just put it in primer. Once that's in primer, then we can start building the engine up then, which will be in probably part 10 or 11, and then I want to get the engine in, make sure everything's fine, the engine and gearbox, make sure everything's fine there. And then once I'm happy with that, then nothing's catching, I can start pull the engine back out, start piping it all up, bring the wires down what I need, obviously after I've sprayed it. I'm jumping the gun a bit there, but yeah, I'm going to spray it the blue again. But I've come up with a different idea. Instead of going full 2K gloss on there, I'm just doing something slightly different. Some of you will cringe at it, but I think it's quite a good idea, but we'll get to that anyway. I might just call this the end of part 9 now, and stick that on YouTube, and then I'm off to Florida, so as if anybody's around the Daytona area, I'm off to hire a bike and see what trouble I can do there. But it'd be ideal. It'd be nice to meet some guys over the ponds with their Alpines, garage setup, etc. But anyway, ping me something. You never know. We might meet up. But anyway, this is going to conclude part 9, and then I can just get stuck into the bodywork. I'm sure nobody wants to see that going on. But thanks for watching. But please subscribe. Don't cost a penny. And also like, put your comments in, obviously, and I can answer them. And that's if anybody wants to comment, that is. But we're improving. This is going to be all the way through. So some of the bits are worth watching. There is a few tips in there what people will pick up, a few things what I've probably brought and whatever. So yeah, anyway, that's me, over and out. Thank you very much then. Bye.